Welcome everyone to Channel Balake. I am of course Balake, and I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by today's video. Smash Bros, the game series that's old enough to drink and go to war. Since its start on the N64, there have been 5 mainline series games, and one on the 3DS that only the most hardcore fans like to mainline with a full needle of copium. Over 20 years of Astounding Games has produced well over 80 plus characters, and for the most part, Smash Ultimate has been pretty well balanced. I said for the most part. But if peered through the veneer of the passage of time, that really hasn't been the case with a lot of the other games over Smash's last 2 decades. Some characters have been far better, and some far worse. Game design is a tricky dig to wiggle around, and with so many fighters to account for, some concepts are gonna slip through the cracks, and it's gonna end up creating a bad character every once in a while, or bad characters through multiple games, which has happened. So today, I wanted to look at the worst that Smash Bros has to offer, that being the worst characters. Not the online service, even though that's far worse. But before going further, I want to clarify that with any list that I'm compiling today, no characters from Ultimate are going to be on this list, because you can't make a list like this with only one game to sample from. So K-Rool, you're safe on this one. For this video, I went through the community tier list of all the games to determine which upon the trash heap was the stinkiest of them all. But I didn't undertake this task alone. Alongside me with this journey is my boy Jazara, who is covering the best characters throughout the series. So be sure to check out that video once you're done with this one. And with our combined brain power, we asked you, the Smash community, in a poll who you guys thought was the worst. And we used that data in conjunction with our findings to determine that this is probably a good time for a drum roll right about now. Yeah, right about now. Ah, there you go. To determine our list for the 10 worst Smash Bros. Characters of all time. Let's begin. Starting off our list is Bowser's favorite and only child. Oh, and his adoptive spawns of Satan, but we don't talk about them. Tweak's first love before cheating on Bowser Jr. with the top tiers of Smash 4 and Ultimate has been pretty bad. Outside of a couple of decent moves, good old BJ, wait, maybe I shouldn't be saying that about a literal child. Oh, Junior hasn't been given any meaningful changes in the 2 games where patches were actively implemented, which has got us staying as much as when a Bowser Jr. main tries to throw Mecha Koopa and the only thing that stops them is a shield. Sakurai's baby has certainly driven through the highest of mountains and the rockiest of bottoms. Kirby's tier placements have been the truest definition of whiplash, starting off as one of the best characters in Smash 64 and going all the way down to the literal worst in Melee, or second worst depending on who you ask nowadays, and from there has sort of leveled out into obscurity through the low rankings of the last 3 games. If it wasn't for Kirby's absolutely abysmal placing in Melee, he wouldn't even be on this list. However, I, along with the community, have decided that yeah, Kirby is Garbo, but not as consistently garbage as his suck and cluck shenanigans.
It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay? No more!
Hey guys, it's Jazara. Man oh man oh man, where to start with Bowser? For one, let's get something straight about him. While he is a bad guy and a bad character, we should at least give him some credit for being a great father. In Smash though, he hasn't really been great. He's ranked F tier in both Melee and Brawl. The combination of his slow, run, if that's what you want to call it, short hitboxes, poor recovery, lack of combos, and the years of life you'll spend waiting for his moves to come out make him extremely weak. He's the only character in Smash history with a true 100-0 matchup of both players have functional brains and controllers in Melee Chic. In Smash 4 and Ultimate, he received some well-needed buffs like a better grab game, an actual dash, and other general speed buffs on his moves. In Smash Ultimate, he's a half-decent rep with players like Hero and Leon being able to make the PGR and gathering tons of great results with him. And since we're on the topic of characters that are good, I got the top 10 best overall characters over on my channel. If you want to check them out, link is in description. But let me give it back to Balake.
The original heavy, the leader of the bunch, it's Chunky Kong!
Wait, sorry, that's just DK's best rep in Ultimate. My main from Smash 4 has only ever been good for one thing and one thing only. Ding dong. Wait, no, get that graphic out of here. Gimmicks, however, are gimmicks for a reason. and aside from the one shining moment that DK had in Smash 4, he has been consistently a low-tier god for his entire existence. Being a fan favorite isn't enough to ignore the fact that DK has always been looking like a snack, as in being the original combo food, along with his over-reliance on grappling, and of course, his historically terrible recovery. It pains me to put him on this list, but the data speaks for itself. If you could tell by who we've covered so far, there is a defining trait a bad character usually shares with the rest of the trash heap, and that is being heavy and or slow. DDD is both. Not entirely bad in Brawl, but take away his cheesy chain grabs and you are left with a boarding penguin that rarely excelled at going in. This trend follows into the later games, where the slowness of DDD's moves just make him so unplayable. Slow plus big hurtbox equals combo food, and is why this triple XL fat penguin is a true low tier. Now we are getting to the true bottom of the landfill. These characters from here on out have been at best decent, and at worst the weakest of all Smash fighters. Doc, along with another character that people already know is on this list, peaked in Melee as a decent hard hitter. Cut to him being cut from Brawl, and his Smash 4/Ultimate appearance shares something in common. He's stanky! Probably in contention for the worst recovery in the entire series, Doc truly is not just watered down Mario, but dog watered down. He packs a punch harder than the Pack-a-Punch perk in COD Zombies, but with a kit that's stolen from the combo-centric Mario, it's simply mismatched because he's too slow to catch up with the rest of his hits. I'm surprised Doc wasn't the one to switch his occupation to plumber because he is Beside his kit having a good amount of cheese with Cyclone and a hefty upbeat out of shield in Ultimate, this character is rightfully deserving of a bottom 5 slot. Alright, back it up. Back it up. Back it up. Okay, drop. Smells like the Bronx. Easily the worst character concept to ever disgrace a Smash game. The fact that Little Mac exists with virtually no air presence in a game where strong aerials are a necessity for a good character is bonkers. Sure, the super armor on his smash attacks make Little Mac a nuisance to deal with on the ground. But when he only has 2 recovery options, one of which put him into free fall in Smash 4, and they only go as far as the length of Olimar's antenna,
ooh,
just keep the Bruiser from the Bronx KO'd. Oh, you think that stands for knockout? It actually stands for knocked off stage. Here, I think it's time for Channel Balake's very own guide to dealing with Little Mac 101. Okay, well that's a little exaggerated, but not that far off. Simply put, if your name isn't Peanut, your Mac isn't gonna go crazy past getting lucky on Elite Smash.
Bruh.
Well, this wasn't one I was expecting to make it on the list. In fact, we didn't even put Mii Sword Fighter on our community poll at all. People wrote them in, which is why they're placing his dead last in the community poll. But the more I thought about it, this character has gone onto the radar in the Mariana's trench of trash. We'll start with Sword Fighter and Ultimate, and then get to Smash 4, because you'll see why he is on this list. This Mii is straight up unusable in the most recent title. They have some shenanigans with the Tornado neutral B into up B, along with the most annoying to deal with projectile or the disc, but with the historically small pool of representation of the Miis, the current conclusion is that they are the worst variant of the 3 Avatar reps from the Wii. But in their debut game, there's a bit of a technicality. In Smash 4, there was a time when custom moves were given to each character, and if we were counting these customs, DK would not be on this list. Only the real ones know what I'm talking about. But during 2015, customs were tested for regular brackets and was determined to be too inconsistent and broken to be fair for tournament play. This was exacerbated by Mii Brawler being very good with these rule sets, virtually creating no solid counterplay available since customs can be changed on a whim. So, all of this to say that because of this volatile quirk of the rule set, not only were customs banned for the majority of Smash 4's lifespan, but in turn, the Miis were also banned, leaving Mii Sword Fighter unranked. So, with the combination of one of the only unranked placements in Smash history and being considered bottom 3 in Ultimate, lands Sword Fighter, free falling into the trash compactor. So now we are left with the top 2, or bottom. It's going to be no shock for those watching who have been playing these games for a long time who is left. But the real question remains. Whomstuff is the worst of the worst? I know. I thought Ganon was gonna be number 1 as well. But to quote the old saying, every Ganon gangsta until the tears start calling. And these tier placements really speak for themselves. Joining Doc as being fairly decent in Melee, ever since that one game, Ganon has consistently ranked as either second to last or dead last. His raw power is undeniable in this series, but literally everything about Ganon screams... no, I mean... No, not... I mean... Jesus, I guess that's the only move Ganon can use. Anyway, this advantage is Ganon's main mode. His slow and heavy nature is the equation used earlier for DDD incarnate. Except for the Geast King, he doesn't have a spiky butt plug to throw at his opponents, so it's even worse for him. Another historically horrible recovery lends Ganon to being one of the easiest fighters to edgeguard, and has 2 of the slowest moves in the history of this series. Although, since I'm talking about it, God, look at that form! Someone must have really been taking lessons from Wii Fit Trainer. Ganon may be the king of evil, but he is merely the gatekeeper to the king of the Trash Hill. Or should I say... Princess! Well, it would make sense to say queen, but technically it's princess since it's Princess Zelda, even though out of the hundreds of ancestors for the f***ing character, she's never been once queen? Anyway, yeah, Zelda is number 1. Her franchise counterpart that bears the number 2 slot was at least mediocre in one game. Zelda has never been good. Ultimate has been her best game, and she's low mid. The other games? Let's jot them down. Melee, bottom 3. Brawl, bottom 2. Smash 4, bottom 2 again. And she was only better than Ganon in Ultimate, but not by much. It is simply a no-brainer. She is a zoner that is probably the worst at doing so throughout all 5 games. The only reason she is manageable in Ultimate is because Sakurai bestowed upon her a knight in shining bullshit to sit behind and spam her molasses-ass moves. This may be seen as a controversial pick for the worst character in all of Smash history, but at least we can all agree that this iteration of Zelda is still better than that from the Wand of Gamelon. Thank you all so much for watching. That's going to do it for my list. And I want to take this time to thank the community members who helped us with our poll, whether that be through Twitter, Discord, or Reddit. And a special shout out to my boy Jazara for being such a great help on this video. You can find his channel through the mention of this video. Check out his video on the best characters throughout Smash history. And like and subscribe to Channel Balake for more smashing goodness. Or I guess in this case, trash. And I will see you all in the next video. Believe me, you're not going to want to miss it. It's a girthy one. Till next time, peace.